McDonald's French fries, don't we all just love them? Now I'm going to teach you how you can make McDonald's style French fries in your own home. It's going to take a little while, 2.5 to 3 hours, but believe me, it's worth the wait. So let's see how it's done. Okay, well here we are, we're ready to go. The first thing you want to do obviously is get your potato. Now I recommend 1 potato per person. That normally makes quite a sensible portion. I use Maris Piper potatoes because they taste great, they fry really well, and they're also quite long, so you get nice big French fries out of those. So first things first, wash it, peel it, and put it on your cutting board. What we're going to want to do is we're going to want to cut this up into planks to get that nice kind of square McDonald's French fry shape. So what I normally do is take the end off the potato, stand it on its end, and then cut a little plank out of it. There we go, there's our first one. And then obviously cut the French fries. Try and cut them as long as you can. Rather than go widthways on the potato, it's going to pay you to go lengthways. Obviously the further in through the potato you get, the bigger they'll get. This is more like it. Now what I tend to do with these is I actually tend to kind of cut it into a rectangle shape and then use the ends, which will form those nice kind of crispy French fries that you get. And then continue to cut lengthways. Now obviously you're not going to want to watch me cut the whole potato. So, in true Blue Peter style, here's some I made earlier. Funnily enough, this is just 1 potato. Has made all these French fries, a nice pile that's actually probably good for a portion for 2 people. What you're going to want to do next is get yourself a bowl with some fresh water, tap water's okay. Pop potatoes in, and this process now will de-starch them, so you'll see that the water's starting to go very cloudy. That's the starch coming off the potatoes. So do this for 25-30 seconds. Okay, there we go, the water's very cloudy, looks like we've got most of the starch off those. Next thing is to get yourself a bowl with some more fresh water. Transfer them in. Obviously don't pour the water into that one because you'll take the starch with it. Amazing how cloudy that gets, isn't it? Okay, what you're going to want to do now is pop a couple of ice cubes in this, pop a towel over it, and leave it for an hour. It's an hour later and the potatoes have had plenty of time to soak in that water. Here they are now, they're not looking too different to they were when we put them in. The next stage is to take them out and we're going to put them in some boiling water. Now what this will do, the first thing it'll do is it'll just get any remaining starch out. Secondly, it'll heat those potatoes up so that when we drain the water away, any remaining moisture will evaporate, and that'll keep them really, really nice for crisping, and they should crisp up very, very well. So I'm just going to take these out now, shake off some of the water, and we'll put them in to boil. Watch your fingers when you're doing this, obviously we don't want any burnt fingers. And we'll leave those in there to boil now for a couple of minutes. Those have been boiling for 4 or 5 minutes now, they should be warm enough. Some of the starch should be removed. We'll just take those off the heat. Put them through a sieve, get rid of the water. Tell you what, considering they're not even fried yet, they smell really, really good. Let some of that water drip away, and I'm just briefly going to dry them on some paper towel. Because they're very warm, they are quite soft, so you want to be careful at this stage that you don't crush them and squash them. There we go, looking nice, aren't they? Next, make sure your fryer is nice and hot. You can put it up onto the highest setting if you wish, or between kind of 3/4 and the highest. It's going to fill the basket up with some of these, and you can hear them sizzling away already there, and they're very, very hot. So those are all in there, we're just going to drop the basket in. Now we're only going to fry these for a couple of minutes. This is the blanching stage. We're actually going to fry the French fries twice. The first time we're not going to let them crisp, we're just going to let them get really, really hot. What that will do, that will allow the insides to cook. Then we're going to take them out and we're going to put them in the freezer for an hour. Then the second time we're going to put them back in for a little bit longer, and that will allow the outside to crisp. Now what you'll get then is the really crispy, crunchy fry with a really soft inside. So those have been in there now for just under a minute. They're looking quite nice. What you want to do with the blanching stage is make sure they're not going brown, make sure they're not looking like they're burning, cooking too much or crisping in any way. Well, they're looking really good. You'll actually know when they're ready because they'll start to look really shiny. You'll see that all of the oil has sunk inside the French fry. They're looking really crispy. They're starting to look as if they could crisp or brown up at any moment, but of course we're going to take them out beforehand. There we go, look at those, they look perfect. They're nice and hot. You can just see that the potato's starting to cook, but we're going to halt the process before they cook too much. Just going to put our fryer off and slide it to one side. Okay, now just going to put these onto some paper towel again, dry them and get the oil off. You'll feel that they're a lot more rigid than they were a couple of minutes ago before we put them into fry. Okay. We can now put those in the freezer, so I'll leave those in there for about an hour. These have been in the freezer now for about an hour. These are frozen, I've let them thaw. It's not so important if they don't freeze completely. Essentially all you want them to do is to get some time in a nice cold environment, to have a bit of time as well for that inside to really cook. And now we come to the final fry. Put your fryer on again, make sure it's nice and hot. Just going to put the potatoes into the basket. This is a very small basket and a very small fryer, so unfortunately they never all fall in perfectly. And pop them in the fryer. They're going to stay in there now for 4 or 5 minutes. Now what you want to do whilst they're frying, get a plate, put some paper towel on it. Now think of McDonald's fries, they're really salty, they definitely give you that punch, don't they? So get some fine salt, just going to place them on here. Nice and salty. One of these times when you don't worry about your health and just enjoy that gorgeous taste. So have a check of them, see how they're looking. They should be cooking nicely as they are. So looking at about 4 or 5 minutes for the final fry, nice and hot, you'll see them sizzling away, and in a minute I'll show you how they should look when they're ready to be taken out. Those look perfect, they're absolutely ready to come out. Look at the colour on those, nice and golden. Just put them onto the paper towel. Remember we put the salt on those earlier, so the first thing I'm just going to dab as much of the oil off as I can. Oh, they're nice and crispy. And then you're going to get the salt and put more on. Remember those McDonald's fries, they're really, really salty. It's the one thing you taste. That's why I always feel so thirsty after you eat them. I'm going to keep putting the salt on. Just mix all that in. Those are absolutely perfect. Just going to wipe my hands. Now I'm going to transfer them into our bowl. So we've come to the end. The fries are made, and I must say they look and they smell fantastic. And they taste great too. Now you can have these as a snack on their own or with dinner. Hey presto, made myself some lovely cod there with lemon and peppercorn sauce. And it looks like those fries are my side dish. There we go, McDonald's style French fries in your own home. Enjoy, good luck, and happy frying.